Hey everyone, it's Brandon Ayton from Game Recognized Games. Today we're going to be talking about Coaster Park. It's a Scott Alms game published by Pandasaurus Games. Alright, let's check it out. So all of the components in Coaster Park are pretty well made. You have these coins which are pretty thick. The cardstock is pretty solid cardstock. All of these in this blue pile are coaster supports. Now you need those when you build your roller coaster by assembling these hills. We have our launch hills here, which is where you start each roller coaster, and some of these augmented hills, which we can talk about in just a minute. Now, everyone has this global bonus card. This is for some end scoring, but also there's additional cards here at the bottom for some bonus scoring. These are all secret cards, which each player is dealt one at the beginning of the game. These cards here, both the launch hill and the standard deck, this is what's going to make the card row, and these determine what hills are available for sale and what workers the players can hire. We'll go through that in just a second. We'll lay out what the card row looks like and everything, but all in all, the component quality is pretty solid. When starting a game, you'll take 2 cards from the launch hill deck and 3 cards from the standard deck, and those will come out here to form what's called the central pool. Most of the coaster components are stored in a general supply over here, which is available to everyone, but once it comes into this row, you're going to take the coaster component and move it over to the actual supply area. Sometimes you'll have more room than others, but you just kind of put it in the same area. Now, on your turn, you can do 2 things. You can either build a roller coaster, which is part of a propose a sale step, or you can buy an expert or hire an expert. And you'll see that these cards have both components. It'll say what coaster component it can be proposed or what expert that card represents. During the propose a sale step, you'll choose a hill. So if I'm first player, I'll say I want the Double Dipper, and I'll propose the sale for that. And then I say I want to have that go up for sale for, let's say, $5. And then it'll pass to the player to my left. If the player to my left says, yeah, I want that for $5, they will either give me the money itself or myself, or they can. I have the option to hire an expert from that row instead. If I take that money, it goes directly to me, and that player takes that, and they can either add it to an existing roller coaster or they can put it in their warehouse. And their warehouse has the ability to store 1 coaster component. Additionally, on that propose a sale step, if that passes to the player to my left or elsewhere in that rotation, that player can choose to test a roller coaster that they already have. So if they already have a roller coaster that's built, then they can go through and run a marble down that roller coaster itself to test the viability. Or they can just pass. Now, that turn will end whenever that component is purchased. If it makes it all the way through the rotation and it has not been purchased, then I, as the proposer of the sale, have to pay that $5 for that component and put it in my warehouse or add it to a roller coaster. Now, I should also mention that if you don't like any of the coaster pieces or the cards that are available, you can use that propose a sale step to take one of the cards from either stack and move it to the far end of the row, at which case the leftmost card and coaster piece will be eliminated from the game. If, as first player, I instead choose to hire an expert, I get to choose one of these experts from this row, and I will spend $2, and it goes directly in front of me. And that expert gives me a special ability for either the rest of the game, if it has this symbol right here, or a one-time ability if it has this arrow going into that box. The end of the game is started as soon as a player builds their 7th hill or the blue standard deck is empty. When that happens, every player is going to get one more turn as the active player, and then the game ends. Now, what that means is every player has to test their roller coaster for viability, and for every piece that the marble will pass through, they will get the point equal to the number of flags, or according to the special rules for the special hills, like this double dipper here. That one gets an additional point if the previous hill is smaller. So I'm going to test this real quick. This one's going to go. So at that point, that roller coaster would not be viable, and I would not get the points for it. If, however, that roller coaster had more hills and it did work, but it only ended after the 2nd hill, then I would have to eliminate anything beyond that 2nd hill and then score the points for the ones that actually went through. Then you'll score for your bonus cards that you might have that I showed earlier, and those are pretty quick. As I said, the bonus points are pretty straightforward. This one, score 1 point for each yellow steel hill in your coasters. And in this roller coaster I had 1, so that would be 1 extra point. And as I said, everyone has 1 of those, which is the secret objective at the beginning of the game. The only limitation to the number of coasters that you can build is based on the launch hills that you have. Every launch hill that you have is considered a brand new roller coaster. So what do I think? Coaster Park is a pretty straightforward game, and it's a good family game, or a light game for some people who are slightly more experienced gamers. The one problem that I have with the game is this piece right here. This is the loop-de-loop. And all in all, it's a great looking piece and a great concept, and what's a roller coaster without, the ability to go upside down? But the piece itself doesn't really work. I could never figure out how to get it assembled. They even had this insert. This QR code doesn't go anywhere. I just felt it was a missed opportunity for Pandasaurus to either explain better how that piece works or get it into the game. All in all, I think that this is a game. It would definitely make it to my table when I have some friends who want a light kind of filler game. It's pretty true to what it says on the box. It's about 30 to 60 minutes once everything gets set up. But in the grand scheme of things, this is probably not a 10 out of 10 or anything. I'd probably give it a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. But it's, especially in a season where Pandasaurus came out with Dinosaur Island and Wasteland Express Delivery Service, came out with some really excellent games. And this one, I think, didn't really fall flat, but I didn't live up to my expectations from Pandasaurus. So, that's Coaster Park from Pandasaurus Games. This has been Brandon from Game Recognized Games. I hope you have fun, play some more games, and see you around. Thank you.